Welcome back. I am Devbrato and you are watching Chemistry 12. In the previous session, I had asked you to name an aldehyde which is used in the silvering of mirrors. The answer is acetaldehyde, which is commonly known as ethanol. Let us now discuss the nomenclature or naming of aldehydes and ketones. This is done by dropping the E from the parent carbon chain and adding an L for aldehydes or on for ketones. But besides the difference in suffixes, there is another very important difference in their naming. The carbonyl carbon on aldehyde is always considered first and is quoted as number 1. However, in case of ketones, the carbonyl carbon is given the lowest possible position. The substituents are named in alphabetical order along with numerals indicating their positions. So let's take a look at some examples. Consider the aldehyde HCHO. Since the longest carbon chain contains only one carbon atom, it is named methanol. A good example of ketones is CH3COCH3. Here, the longest carbon chain contains 3 carbons and the carbonyl group is present on the second position. Hence, the name propane 2-ol. It's important for you to know that many aldehydes and ketones also have common names. For example, methanol is commonly known as formaldehyde, a disinfectant used to kill bacteria and fungi. Similarly, propane 2-ol is commonly known as acetone. You may have encountered this substance in nail polish removers and paint thinners. Here is a question for you. What causes the redness of an ant bite? The answer lies in the group of compounds we are going to study next. I am talking about carboxylic acids, which are another type of carbonyl compound. The redness of an ant bite is due to a carboxylic acid known as formic acid, which the ant injects into our body. So what should you do to cure it? Just apply a paste of baking soda and water. Since this is alkaline, it will neutralize the acid and cause immediate relief. Now, I am sure you are wondering, how are carboxylic acids different from aldehydes and ketones? The difference is that carboxylic acids contain a carboxyl functional group which is constituted of not one but 2 groups, a carbonyl group that is C double bond O along with a hydroxyl or OH group. Carboxylic acids are of 2 types, aliphatic and aromatic. If the carboxyl group is attached to an alkyl group, the corresponding acids are aliphatic, and if the carboxyl group is attached to an aryl group, they are termed as aromatic acids. Let's take a question from one of our students now who wants to know more about carboxyl acids.
I have heard that some monocarboxylic acids are also known as fatty acids. Why is it?
Interesting question. You are right. Aliphatic monocarboxylic acids, that is, those compounds with one carboxyl group, are also known as fatty acids. This is because some of their higher members like palmitic acid and stearic acid are found in natural fats as esters of glycerol. In fact, you'd be interested to know that it is these fatty acids which are used in the manufacture of soaps and detergents. When fatty acids are heated with a solution of sodium hydroxide, they break down to glycerol and the sodium salt of the respective fatty acid, which is what we know as soap. This process of making soap by hydrolysis of fatty acids with alkalis is called saponification. Do remember this definition as it could fetch you an easy 1 mark in the exams. Ready to study how carboxyl acids are named? In earlier times, carboxylic acids, like many other compounds, had common names based on their source of origin. For example, formic acid was obtained from red ants, also called formica in Latin. Acetic acid was obtained from vinegar or acetum, and so on. But more recently, these compounds were given IUPAC names. The IUPAC nomenclature of carboxylic acids is fairly simple. We find the longest carbon chain, which includes the carboxyl group, and replace the E of the parent alkane with oic acid. Just be careful that the carbon of the carboxyl group is always given number 1. Let us understand this with an example. CH3, CH2, CH2, COOH has the longest carbon chain of 4 atoms. Take a look at the numbering on your screen. Since it is an acid containing 4 carbon atoms, it is called butanoic acid. If you want to practice naming more such compounds, just log on to www.topperlearning.com and you will find all the sample questions you need. Now, when it comes to their uses, I am sure by now many of you would have guessed them. Formic acid is used as an antiseptic. Acetic acid is used as vinegar in cooking, and propionic acid is used as a food preservative. Well, that brings me to the end of today's theory discussion on carbonyl compounds. But the session is far from over. Stay tuned. Exam Decoded coming up after the break.